If you have ever said to yourself, well, I don't think I'm an alcoholic, maybe you Googled it at 3 a.m., but you think to yourself, I don't think I'm an alcoholic, but something just didn't right here. Something is not lining up for me. Today, we're talking really about gray area drinking because you don't need to hit a rock bottom and you don't need to wear a label to change your relationship with alcohol. And that's exactly what it is, y'all. It is a relationship. We've brought it in oftentimes as a companion, as a buddy, as a way to do hard things, as a way to fill the void, the boredom, maybe use it to connect with others. But I want you to know that rock bottom is not a requirement for change. If you can hear me say anything, rock bottom is not a requirement for change. And when I was trapped in the gray area, which I'll define a little bit here, when I was stuck in this gray area, I didn't know if I should go forward or backward. I was in the middle. I knew I wanted change, but I didn't know if I just needed to mash the gas and hit it harder until I had to change, or if I could tap the brakes, maybe peel off the drinking highway. And what was the challenge was my life looked good on the outside. Externally speaking, extremely high functioning. In fact, if anything, I was over functioning. I was overthinking, over performing, over showing up. And by the end of the day, I was just kind of over it. You know what I mean? And so for high functioning women like yourself, I'm assuming if you're listening to me, you would probably consider yourself a type A or a successful person or someone who's able to get her done. And I think for those of us who feel in that category of high functioning, again, we're not dropping the ball. The balls are juggled, man. They're up in the air. We're not dropping the ball. We're juggling balls. We're juggling a lot of balls. And so it's very easy for us to minimize our drinking because externally we're not getting the DUI. If you have gotten a DUI and you're listening to me, no shame in this game. In fact, it's kind of a miracle, quite honestly, that for many of us, we didn't experience that because we've certainly had one and gotten behind the wheel of a car. So there is zero judgment when I say you haven't gotten this or that. It's a spectrum and it could have been anybody at any time. But typically speaking, we have external cues, external things like the DUI, the lost job, complete external, I guess, disaster, what can feel like a disaster. Of course, you can come back from anything, but those are external things. And so if you're high functioning, but you feel like your relationship with drinking is not serving you, you're looking around and you're like, but I'm not falling down over here. I'm not missing appointments. I am showing up for work. I am doing all these things. And that is the thing. But internally, what is going on? Brain fog, anxiety. Oh my gosh, y'all, my anxiety was just completely through the roof when I was drinking. And I thought it was because I was just a nervous Nelly. I just thought it was just me. And I did not realize that alcohol was actually increasing my anxiety because it was increasing my cortisol. It was increasing my stress hormone inside my body. Just the science alone is just so eye-opening because when you realize, oh, there's an actual chemical reason why. Have you ever heard of hangxiety? Yeah, hangxiety is very real. It's the heightened anxiety that comes in a hangover, and there's a chemical reason for that. But again, that's internal. That people are not going to see that. If you're walking around with extra anxiety or higher cortisol or stress, but you got your makeup on, your hair done, and you're checking every box, people are not going to know that you're struggling like you are, like I was, like maybe you are right now. And that's okay. That's why it's important to go internal instead of just look at external. Because if we do that, we will get caught in the comparison trap. You don't need a crisis to choose clarity. That's good news today. You don't need a crisis to choose clarity. And that's a big deal. So no rock bottom required for change. And you don't need to choose, you don't have to have a crisis to choose clarity. You can choose clarity because you want something better, not because it's, quote, bad enough, right? And that's a lot of what we're doing in the 21 Day Reset Challenge is breaking down. Even if you tried moderating or you're struggling, step forward. Now, what do I do? Now that I've got awareness and I'm off of autopilot, now what do I do to begin to get in the hood, get pop the hood and get in your own life and go, well, wait, why am I drinking? Oh, whoa, how do I not know how to cope with life's challenges? Well, we didn't get a lot of practice with that because we weren't taught that in school. We were taught how to achieve, how to perform, how to show up and fake it till you make it, how to show up and have a really strong external and not talk about the internal. And we flip that on its head in Sober Sis. We're like, hey, everybody looks good. That's great. Okay, how are you really doing? And we want to keep it real, which is exactly what we're doing here in our tribes. We're trying to start from the inside and let that move itself out. And people will notice that you've got the sober glow. So, with all of that, y'all have a great day. And I'll see you around town. See you around Sober Sis Land. Y'all have a good day. Bye, everybody.